Here we are at Draves Archery, dravesarchery.com. Guys, I've got a Vortex light stuff package here, guys. Joe, you can see this. This is an Excalibur product. I've got several of these guys left in stock. Going to make a great Christmas gift. This bow retails for $810 is the price on this guy, 810 bucks. But what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to take apart the bow. It's brand new in a box. I'm going to take it apart. I'm going to assemble it. And then I'm also going to throw in a couple of things here for the Christmas gift. I have some bolt cutter, a 6-pack, a bolt cutter broadheads here, guys. Excalibur 150 grains, like I said, 6-pack bolt cutter broadheads. I'm going to throw this here in for the $810. And these guys here are a $50 value. I'm also going to throw in a limb saver, adjustable, carry and sling. It's a $35 value. So we're going to sweeten the deal here just a little bit. I'm going to open this guy up and get the old trusty pocket knife out. Okay, open this guy up. This is what it's going to look like, guys, whenever you get it in the box. So what we're going to do is it comes with 4 bolts. Crossbow, here is a cocking rope, which I will open up and show you how this all will work. So that's going to get you here with the cocking rope. I did grab a set of Allen wrenches because I know we're going to need some. It does come with its own wrenches. Comes with a quiver. This here is the Shadow Zone scope, guys. This guy will illuminate red and green. Very, very nice scope. Excalibur's got phenomenal scopes as far as I'm concerned in the industry. They've got one of the best scopes out there. I've been dealing with Excalibur for a lot of years, guys, girls, whoever's watching this, and I can guarantee you that you can't find a better made crossbow in the market than Excalibur. Out of all the years I've been dealing with them, I have virtually had, I can't say 0 issues, but only like 3 or 4 in the last 25 years that I've been dealing with Excalibur, so not very many. The chances of having anything go wrong with one of these bows is slim to none. Okay, here comes the stock and what they call the barrel system, the quiver mount bracket, warranty papers, a bunch of stuff in there we don't need, and this box is now empty, so we're going to throw this here down. Get this here out of my counter. Let's clean this crap up. Okay, inside this bag, quiver mount bracket, the head bolts, 4 field points which go with the arrow. This right here is the quiver mount bracket screws and scope rings for the scope. Okay, so here's the deal. I'll show you how quick and easy this guy is to assemble. I didn't even really look at this. I'll have it figured out here in a minute. I can't remember off the top of my head how fast this bow really shoots, but I'll tell you in just a minute so I don't give you guys the wrong information. Now this head, I always mount them on here. It's the simplest way for me to say is to turn your thing upside down. So your string, which will sit here on the top side of the barrel, you just put him on, and there's a groove here. And you can kind of see this groove maybe coming through here. Just lay the barrel on here, your string sits on the top side, and just kind of take your fingers until you lay him down, and then he'll kind of center himself. So you don't have anything real special here you need to do. Slide the washer, a tapered washer with a tapered bolt, slide straight in, drop it through the holes, and just kind of start to finger tight this guy in there. Same thing goes to the second one. Washer, taper head, slide the bolt through the taper head. And we're going to get this guy here started in the screwing. Like I said, it does come with its own wrenches. I just happen to use a set of these Alpine Archery. They're my favorite wrenches to use. Look at this guy up and started, and you can see here there's no way to screw this up. Just get him, snug him up, go back to the front bolt, we'll run him in there, I'm going to snug him up. Now we're going to make these guys super tight. There we go. And you heard it come down nice and tight on the second one. So now the head is totally assembled onto the crossbow. Okay. I am right-handed. The quiver mount bracket either comes right or left-handed, and the reason why I'm saying right or left-handed is because I'm right-handed. I'm going to put my left hand underneath here, and I'm going to shoot it like this. If I was left-handed, I would shoot it like this, okay? If I'm going to shoot it left-handed, I'm going to want my quiver to come off on the side. Unlike the rest of the other companies out here, guys, this Excalibur, the quiver runs down along the side of the barrel. So it's out of your way, and it doesn't distribute all the weight to the front, okay? So me being right-handed, I'm going to put it here, and I want my quiver to come through this way. So, take quiver mount bracket, it is labeled here, left-handed, right-handed, very simple solution. And we're going to put the bracket on here, the left, so getting the right side up. Go ahead and flip your crossbow upside down again, which makes it a little easier here to work on. 2 screws, so let's pull the screws out of the bag. Like I said before, very, very well trusted, awesome company here to deal with. Left-handed bracket. This bow IBOs at 330 feet a second. So it's not the fastest crossbow, but the balance point on this guy is very nice because of the barrel length of it. You can see here, I'm just going to snug these here up with my fingers. Once again, I'm going to grab my wrench. Now, let's just use this. This comes, like I said, it comes with a wrench, guys. So we're just going to use the factory wrench on this just because I like the other handle because I got a lot more torque on it. Snug that one up. Snug that guy up there, nice. Now, quiver mount bracket. Open this here up. Now, whenever I open up the quiver mount bracket, the start with, this is actually the mounting piece for the quiver. It came with 2 nuts. The nuts are for the quiver itself. So we're going to take the screw, I'm going to set one screw in here, get him up and started. Take the next screw, put him in here, and we're going to get him good and started. So they're both sitting down inside, so I've got plenty of thread coming out the bottom side of this. We're going to put this V to the top. I believe so. Let me see how I want to do this. Nope, the V is going to go to the bottom. So if you see the V here, the V is going to go to the bottom side. Go ahead and drop that in. And we're going to grab the 2 nuts. As you can see here, hold your thumb against this or whatever. And we're just going to kind of get these guys up and started. You may have to get a set of pliers. You may not, just depends on how it starts off. If the screws, yep, right now my screw's spinning a little bit inside. I'm going to get this in here started. Like I said, I may have to grab a set of pliers or a little crescent wrench or something like that to complete this, to get it snug. But generally I can get them to go tight enough. It is only a piece of plastic for a quiver mount bracket. Like I said, generally I can get them tight enough to do this by just taking the wrench, putting my fingers on the nut, and snugging them up. That's plenty tight, really. Like I said, it is a piece of plastic, so we don't want to put it on so tight that you crack this, and you can do that. Every time I've ever bolted together anything as far as Excalibur goes, everything fits, guys. Like, it's all machined right. You never have to worry about, well, is this going to work, or is that not going to work, or you just put them on. Okay, quiver mount bracket, quiver. Going to slide it right down in the V, pulling down till it bottoms out. And give him a couple of little twists here, and that's going to snug this quiver up so you can't get your quiver to come up or come loose. Left hand, this one here is actually on here for a left hand. I actually bolted that on there completely wrong. I just did that, I really did, but that's fine. It doesn't matter as long as you guys understand how it goes. I set this one up to fit left-handed, so now your bolts will actually go in here left-handed. I don't know how I did that, but I did. There we go. As you can see, if I'm going to shoot left-handed here, the bolts distributes the weight closer back to the cheek plate. Okay, now we're going to put on the scope rings I used to never really think it made that much of a difference, but after dealing with my gun guy, he says you always want to put the nut itself to the left-hand side. From the Excaliburs and the experience I've dealt with, I like to put this first scope ring on the very front notch, because with these Excalibur scopes, guys, they give you a real large view sight window in them, so it's nice, it really is. And then I normally put this guy here on the second notch. That's where I generally like to start them. In the past, I've had the best luck with putting them here. So wherever it is, you know, the eye relief comes in and it fits you the best is where you're going to want to put it. But this is the experience I've had with them. Okay, I've just kind of got that guy snugged up a little bit. I'm going to grab the wrench because I know it's an off size, and we're going to remove these top 4 screws off the scope ring. Here in a moment I will grab a flat screwdriver so I can put the rest of these scope rings on here tight. Maybe I can get a flat here in just a minute. Okay. Okay, there goes the 4 screws off the top side of the scope ring. So now I've got both scope rings off on the top side. We're going to open up the shadow zone scope. Pull the rubber bands off of it here. And we're going to pull the scope out. I'm going to pull the lens cap off of this guy just because. There we go. We've got this kind of where I want him. I'm going to go ahead and just lay the scope, sit him in there nice. Lay the top scope ring back on. And we're just going to kind of get these screws started. Let's take another screw. We're going to go ahead and get this screw here started. So now in case we bump it or something silly happens, that we're not going to knock the scope off of here anyways. Okay, we're going to get the next set started. Okay, we're going to have another screw. Last and final screw just to kind of get him up and started. I'm sure there's a lot of ways of doing this, guys. If you had a level and stuff, you could level this whole thing out and put the scope on their level. What I've always done in the past is I've always just kind of leveled this crosshair up with the string. So I got me a flat screwdriver, and we're going to take this here and we're going to snug this ring up tight on the side. And I'll show you here. A larger flat would be better, but I don't happen to have one with me right now, so I'm just going to use this regular one. And you're going to snug these here up. Like I said, these aren't really big bolts, guys. You want to get them tight and it's very snug anyways, but you don't want to overdo them because you can strip them or snap that bolt in half. I mean, because we're not dealing with a really large. Okay, that one's good and snug. And that one there is good and snug. Okay, now we're going to go back to the scope itself. I'm actually going to pop this quiver off of here just so I can let this bow lay on the counter a little bit easier for me so I can run the level. Now what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to set the eye relief, which is the forward and backness of this scope. So I'm going to get it kind of set, and then I'm also going to set the right and left on this scope. Right now the rings are just a little bit loose even though we have all the screws started. We're going to go ahead and we're going to snug him up just a little bit. You can kind of look at each side of this scope ring and see the gap. And you don't want to have one side down all the way tight and the other side with a large gap in it, because your scope will pull funny. I know it sounds silly, but it's the way it works. So we're going to kind of get these fairly close to being equal. Okay, that's fairly close. Now, like I said before, inside of there in the crosshairs, when you take those crosshairs and you line them up with this limb, you'll be able to see the crosshairs going up or down to see whether your bow is level. So I'm just going to kind of lay him here on the counter, and I'm going to play with this eye relief a little bit. I got the eye relief about where I think I want him. Super crystal clear, guys, as far as the scope go. Okay, maybe I need to turn him just a little bit here. Like I said, he's not super tight, just snug. That looks super close. Okay, guys, what I do is I set the crosshairs. So now the crosshairs are going to sit in their level, kind of like tightening a tire on a car. What you're going to do is you're going to give this guy here quarter turn, give this guy here quarter turn, give this guy here quarter turn, and you're just going to go back and forth until you get these where they're nice and snug, because you don't want that sight to move in there. You don't want the crosshairs to start moving on you. Okay, so now I've got these snug enough. I'm going to recheck it. Still sitting there very level, like I said, and I can open one eye, close it, however, and I can find that crosshair paralleling with those limbs. Everything there still looks really good. So we're going to go ahead and tighten the scope down nice and tight. Quarter turn. Quarter turn, we just moved to the larger end of the Allen wrench. Like I said, we don't want to over tighten these guys just due to the simple fact that they're not real long screws, they're not real heavy screws. You just want them good and tight. If I knew how many pounds, if you had a way to measure how many torque pound inches or whatever it is, I don't know. I'm sure if I read the instructions here I can find that for you, but you'll have the same instructions. So if you're that particular, you'll have the wrenches to do it at home anyways. Okay, now I have the quiver mount bracket mounted on there. Show you how that works. I have the scope mounted on there. We're almost at a completed state here, guys. What I am going to do is, like I said, I'm throwing in on this deal for the Christmas special here a $35 limb saver, very nice heavy duty rubbered sling, adjustable, and the bolt cutters by Excalibur, a $50 value. So it's a heck of a savings here. I'm going to pull this guy here off, and I'm going to show you how we're going to mount and how easy it is to mount this sling on here. Get my knife, and we're cutting the zip ties off of him. Okay, zip ties are cut. Like I said, $35 value. I'm going to throw this here in with, now the Excalibur tags are here and here. They're a simple solution to remove, just like anything else. Just kind of get your wire where you want them, push through, and we're going to pull him out this way. I'm going to save these tags because I am going to hang this bow up. It is a brand new bow. I'm going to sell it here through the store. I can do these bows, guys. I can assemble this bow and have it assembled and scoped in for you. If you would like for me to do that, there's going to be an additional $25 charge, but no problems. I'll put the whole bow together, I'll assemble it for you, I'll scope it in. I also have Excalibur soft cases. So if you'd like to have a soft case come with this bow, the problem is I really can't ship you the bow in a soft case and expect everything's going to be there to you in a safe manner. So I do have the Plano hard cases now that will fit the Excalibur bows. Very slick system. Okay, guys, we're going to put the limb saver. It's got swivels on it, very adjustable. What we're going to do is we're going to take this top screw and we're going to loosen him up. There we go. We've still got the flat screwdriver handy, which is good. Get him up and open a little bit more. Okay. So that there opened up nice. I don't know if you can see this here or not. The screw backs out. There's your gap. So we're going to take this here. We're going to open the gap up. We're going to shove it through this front eyelet. If I can get him to start in there. These are just one of these things, sometimes you got to hold your mouth right. Don't ask me why, but that's my luck towards things. I'm trying to get it to start in there with screwing in there. Okay, that's what am I doing? There we go. Like I said, one of the things you just got to hold your mouth right on. It's very simple. I'm just struggling here a little bit today. It's okay. We're going to screw this down. About got him. Like I said, a very solid strap. You can see how heavy and dense this rubber is with leather inlay in it. It's got a rubber handle here which is adjustable. To adjust this guy, you got to squeeze him in the middle, then he'll slide. If not, he won't really ever slide. Squeeze it in the middle and it lets it slide easily. Grab my screwdriver here again, just to make sure. Yep, very solid at front. You want to have a flat screwdriver, guys, to get these up and started. Okay, it's loose. Make sure our strap is straight. Yep, see how easy that one there went in? Nice and easy. We'll get him screwed in there to the point where the fingers don't work anymore. Grab the flat screwdriver again. And okay, now the strap is on tight. Here's your crossbow, guys. Take him, sling him over your shoulder. He is adjustable down here at the bottom, so that we've got adjustment to him, so we can lengthen him to wherever it is we want him. You can put him on the right shoulder or left shoulder, depending on what handed you are, as to where you're going to want that quiver mount bracket. Like I said, this one here, we actually set him up for a left-handed bow, so the left hand of the quiver is going to come down here on the left side. Very slick system. One last thing here we're going to show you guys before we complete this video. On this crossbow, Excalibur Vortex, is the cocking rope. And I set him out here. I've got a little bit of a mess, but not too bad. Here is the cocking rope. Now, I think they've got this preset. I'm pretty sure they do. If not, we're going to set it. The original ones come, or if you buy them separate through anybody else, they're going to come with a really long rope. And what you're going to do is you're going to take this guy. You can see it here. Put the hook to the top side. Hook comes around. Below the safety and fire, there's a groove inside of this crossbow on the back side of the stock. You're going to go ahead and take the rope, bring it around the back side of the stock. Now if you see here, it looks to me like this rope's a little short, but it's really not, guys. What you're going to do is just take this crossbow and pull up the string just a little bit. It doesn't take very much pressure at all. And you just pull his string up. Now he's hooked. So now your crossbow string is back here a little bit. What happens is if your string is too long, when you go to cock this thing, you end up way up here and you don't have any real lifting power. So you want to get this so your crossbow cocks more towards the center. Something else here this crossbow has, and I haven't pointed out to you yet, is these two little lines that sit in here. I'll pop this guy back off just so I can show you. When they're brand new like this, they're going to sit right here at the very back side of this line. A few shots, it's going to come in just a little bit. The rule is keep this string somewhere in between these two lines. So if the crossbow string moves in front of the line, what you'll want to do is just bring it to your local retailer, or you can de-string it yourself and give the string a couple of twists. Get it so it sits back more towards the back side or the middle of the line, and that's how you make sure whether your crossbow is in time or not, or it's in the correct position. Okay, so now the crossbow is there, the scope and everything's mounted on there tight. We're going to re-slide down this quiver so that the quiver's on there nice and tight. A couple of twists, just like this. Okay guys, the crossbow's put together. We got the cocking rope on, we've got the bolts, the quiver mounted. We're going to pull him up, holster him. Scope sits in a nice and level, crystal clear scope. One other thing I'm going to tell you guys about this scope, and I forgot to mention it, I just haven't got around to it yet. On the back side of this scope, it has a speed indicator. And the speed indicator goes, I don't know if you can see it here, I'm bringing it around, it goes 250, 275, 300, 325, and 350. And what that stands for, guys, is that just stands for feet per second. This bow here is going to IBO at 330 feet a second. So we're going to start him here just a little bit, and on the top side there's a little dot. So we're going to start him somewhere around that 325, 330 feet a second. All that really kind of depends on is what bolt it is you're shooting and how fast you're shooting. It should do it with the factory points and the factory bolts. You're going to set the first top crosshair in at 0 to 20. That's how I always do them. On the bottom side of the top crosshair there sits a little triangle. And what you're going to do is you're going to set the top of the little triangle on whatever it is you want to shoot, just on the bottom side. So if I was shooting at something, just to use the scope as an example, I would come up just so the bottom of the triangle would touch the bottom edge of the scope. So then you're going to go 20 on your top crosshair, 30, 40, and 50 yards. So there's 3 more settings in there below the top of the crosshair. So we're going to set this guy in at the IBO speed, give you a rough start on it. What that does is actually going to change the parallax and the gap as to how fast your bow is. So if you go to a heavier arrow, for instance, and you want to change this here and your speed changes, just go back to the 20 yards, dial it in at whatever speed it is you think it's going to be. Then as you step back to the 30-yard mark, what's going to happen is that you can adjust that 30 and 40 and 50, so everything's going to come into place and work nice and neat for you. Once again, I'm going to run through this, guys, the very last time here today. This is the Vortex package. Vortex package comes with the scope. Scope on the side here has a red and green indicator, and you can turn that on. I don't know if you can see it inside of there or not. You may be able to, you may not be able to. Okay, that's fine. But it goes red or green, and you can adjust the brightness. On the top side of the scope, when you remove this cap, take a penny, basically, is about what it's going to take, or a small flat screwdriver. And this here is going to give you your up and down on the top screw. And on this side screw here, this here will get you your right and left. Both of these caps, easy to screw on, easy to screw off. Just kind of be gentle whenever you screw them back on, when you're done scoping them in, because they are a very fine thread and they are easy to strip. So I normally just turn them until I get them going backwards, and then you'll see here that they just slide right on and screw in spot. Just give them a good snug up. Give them a good snug. Something else that you can add to this that I don't have on here, you can always add limb savers, for instance, to it, or the bow jack system. You can add a string silencer system to them. Excalibur did come out with what I always refer to as the original STS system, or a string stop or deadening style system, and they will bolt right here on these 2 brackets. And they will come up. Probably the most effective thing I've found so far as reducing recoil and noise for this crossbow are the string stops, and they're like $50, I think, somewhere in that area. But $810, guys. The crossbow, the scope, the cock and rope, 4 arrows, the quiver mount bracket, with the limb saber, adjustable, carry and sling, which is a $35 value, and a 6-pack of the bolt cutters, which is a $50 value. You got 4 bolts here, guys. Take 2 of these, practice with them, make sure everything's going to shoot right and correctly, then pull them off, use them for a varmint head or something like that. Put on the 4 brand new virgin broadheads and go out and harvest the game of a lifetime. This is a video brought to you guys by DravesArchery.com. And I'll do another video here soon of shooting this bow and scoping him in, and we'll see what you guys think. But a wonderful Christmas gift here for somebody looking for a nice high-end crossbow that they can go out there and take down any game in the world with. Thank you.